Highway 20, also known as the Chilcotin Highway and officially dubbed the Alexander Mackenzie Highway, is one of the two east-west routes in the central interior of British Columbia. The Chilcotin Highway runs 457 kilometers from Williams Lake westward through the Chilcotin region to North Bentnick Arm, an inlet in the Pacific Ocean where the town of Bella Coola is located. As of 2006, all but 57 kilometers have been paved. The highway rises gradually for 23 kilometers to the crossing of the Fraser River at Sheep Creek Bridge, seen here, from which it ascends via a series of steep switchbacks to the Chilcotin Plateau. Prior to improvements in the late 20th century, including Sheep Creek Bridge, it crossed Fraser via a 1910-style suspension bridge, which was like those further south at Gang Ranch Dog Creek and Lillooet. The following is from an article that was in the Coast Mountain News called Listen, a Haphazard History of the Fraser River Bridge. This iconic bridge over the Fraser River, some 25 kilometers west of Williams Lake on Highway 20, sometimes is referred to as the gateway to the Chilcotin. It has an interesting and colorful history. For eons, a natural slowing of the current in that area of the river made for a suitable crossing site. When the river is at its normal height, the current is usually peaceful enough for boats to cross. When the flow of water is low, there are spots where animals can easily swim across. Prior to European settlement, there was a substantial Shaquette Village located at the mouth of Chimney Creek, about 8 kilometers upstream from the present bridge site. The people there constructed log rafts which they used to cross the river. The indigenous people there became known as the people of the Barge, and are referred to as such fairly often in the journals of Fort Alexandria from the 1820s through the 1850s. With the coming of the gold rush in the early 1860s, one of the most common routes to the gold fields was via the River Trail from Lillooet, which paralleled the Fraser River on the more level west side. A side branch split off of this route at what we now call Pinchbeck Hill and made its way into the settlement of Williams Lake. In the mid-1870s, Soda Creek was the major town in the area, and the main route to the Chilcotin was to cross the river on the Soda Creek Ferry, then to follow the river south, moving inland to come out at Betcher's Prairie. A crossing at or near Chimney Creek was shorter, but considerably more difficult, canoeing up the west side and then having to travel up a steep rocky hillside at the top, after which there was a fairly flat and easy run to the prairie. Amadi Isnardi, seeing a good business opportunity, began a ferry boat operation across the Fraser in the 1880s. His ferry consisted of a large freighter canoe and later of a 6 by 12 foot scow, both of which were rowed across the river. Isnardi's eldest son Joe took over the ferry operation for a few years before selling it in 1900 to Murdoch Ross. Ross was a former schoolteacher from Nova Scotia who had settled on the west side of the river. He was a big man, over 6 feet tall. He had to be rowing back and forth across the river, which was back-breaking work. For this work, he received an annual government stipend of $500. Murdoch served as a Chimney Creek ferryman until 1904 when the first bridge was completed. That first bridge began with a petition to the government of Victoria, written in 1898 by Fred Beecher and signed by all 40 eligible voters in the region. They argued that such a bridge would bring prosperity to the Chilcotin and thus to the province. Surprisingly, the government of the day agreed, and by 1901 preliminary studies were done, and a site where the river narrowed downstream from the ferry site at the mouth of Chimney Creek was chosen for the crossing. That first bridge was a unique design, featuring a lower cable and counterweight to provide rigidity and to overcome wind lift and movement common to suspension bridges of the day. It had a 325-foot span with wooden towers on each end. On the west side there was a long wooden approach trestle with a similar but shorter one on the east side. The stone piers on both sides of the river were built by a crew led by Louis Boitano, a professional stonemason and cousin of Augustine, who had established a ranch at Spring House. Louis had come from Favali, Italy, to visit his cousin and stayed to work on the project. The stone footings, constructed out of large granite blocks, were so well built that they're still standing there today 120 years later. In the spring of 1902, work began on the bridge structure itself. The materials were shipped by rail to Ashcroft, then hauled to the construction site by horse teams pulling wagons in the summer and sleighs in the winter. There were up to 60 workers employed in the project, most of them local and unskilled. The huge 700-foot cables had to be shipped using large wagon convoys. Roads were poor and at some point non-existent. It was a massive undertaking, but in September 1904 the bridge was finally completed. The total cost was $65,000, almost double the original estimate. This new bridge was referred to by several names. The official government title was the Chimney Creek Bridge, even though it was several kilometers downstream from Chimney Creek. People called it by a variety of other names: the Chilcotin Bridge, the Fraser River Bridge, and the Sheep Creek Bridge, and the steep Sheep Creek Hill on the west side. Most locals, however, simply called it the bridge. Right from the outset, the bridge was an adventurous crossing hanging 100 feet or so above the water. It swayed and squeaked and groaned. The noise and the movement made both people and animals nervous, and many times animals would balk partway across or refuse to cross at all. People said it moved so much it was like driving on waves. Holding pens were built at each side of the bridge so that only a small number of terrified animals could be driven across at a single time. As the structure aged, it sagged more and more in the middle so that vehicles had a significant uphill climb to get off in either direction. Getting off the bridge was just the start of the nightmare. Ahead lay the 4-mile Sheep Creek Hill with its 20% grade and 6 roughly cribbed switchbacks. Sometimes it was simply impassable. Over the years, the bridge saw yeoman's service. It had to be repaired and reinforced several times, with cables being replaced, timbers, ties, and planking being renewed, and access to both ends being upgraded. By 1960, it had reached the end of its life, and it was obvious to everyone a new bridge was required. The sag in the middle became notorious, as did the noise the structure made as larger and large vehicles made use of it. A brand new concrete and steel bridge was erected just upstream from the old one. It was deemed that this old bridge was too unsafe to remain standing, so the decision was made to destroy it. Munitions specialists were hired to set charges and blow it up in small pieces so the debris would not cause problems further downstream. The first attempt, however, was a failure. The old bridge shook a bit, then settled back in place. The charges had to all be replaced, this time with considerably more explosives. And this time, the entire east side was demolished, but the center span hung up, then dropped in the river as a single large piece. It floated down the river with its guardrail still in place, never to be seen again. There was considerable speculation about where it may have ended up. The west section was badly splintered but would not fall, so it was set alight and burnt. The new bridge opened in September 1962, almost 58 years after the old one had gone into service. This new bridge was officially named the Chilcotin Bridge, but as with its predecessor, it goes by several different names still. For 60 years now, this bridge has been a reliable, safe crossing as well as the major access point to the Chilcotin country. It is scenic and often photographed, and it stands as a testament to the strong work ethic and tough-mindedness of those who opened up the west side of the Fraser River. Drone photography was done by David Curtis. Thank you for checking out my channel. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome to the old. Thanks for stopping by. Please hit like, share, subscribe to Joey Only, the Caribou Weather Dude. Check out our radio show we put out every week, the Meteorological Report, the video version right here on this YouTube. New content all the time.